Quantum Key.
Hey, Reflections! So today I wanted to talk about my journey to India and why I wanted to talk about that today. It ties into the 222 upgrade, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it. That thought, or observing the thought behind that experience, was what triggered that 222 upgrade. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, and that's why it was very, very important. So, especially to my growth and to exploring my own divine source. So that was really, really important. Now, I do not regret going to India. I do not regret all of the energy I put into going to India. I do not regret putting all of the resources and money going to India. Now, why? I didn't have the experience that I wanted, but I had the experience that I needed, and that's very psychedelic. And as a psychedelic person, I now see things in a very different way, especially after my last upgrade. And that was the thought that triggered my last upgrade. So I realized that nothing really has changed except perspective and surrender, really. Surrender to ego a lot of the time, because I realized when I went to India, I was operating out of ego. I mean, that was the whole vibration of my life. And the more I separate from my ego, the more I separate from fear, from hatred, from separateness. That type of mentality that separates us, that allows and encourages really nasty behavior and very unconscious behavior as well. So, now that I have this insight, and in hindsight, it seems so clear that this was a lesson that was sent to me. And yes, this guru that I had seen, these gurus that I had seen, were teachers, divine teachers in this divine classroom. So when your third eye is awakened, when you start living in your divine purpose, you start realizing everything is a lesson, absolutely everything. So there are no mistakes. And that's why I wanted to start this video out this way, in the right type of vibration, coming from love and unity and singularity. And now I can talk about the situation. So keep that in mind. This was a very expensive mistake that I made, but then again, nothing is a mistake. I surrendered that experience, I surrendered the money, and that was the most important part. Now, the reason why I decided to go to India was because I was on a path of self-exploration. I refused to believe the belief systems that I had grown up with, and I went on my own path to explore myself. I realized that a lot of the great people that I look up and admire to went to India. So I decided to go take a look for myself and to figure it out myself. I had found a guru in India, and he talked about everything that I was thinking. He talked about everything that really explained this holographic experience that we are witnessing, and I went over there. Now, the first sign that I should have looked out for was how difficult it was going there. I mean, I was supposed to go 1 month, and then the visa didn't come in, and then it took about, I'd say, 3 to 4 months to get my visa. That should have been the first sign. But again, I feel that everything is divine. This happened for a reason. I had to face my ego, and I had to shed a lot of ego as well, and have this experience to see truth, really. So, and express my own truth. So, yeah, I went there. When I went to this place, this guru refused to see me until the check cleared. So that's another thing that like kind of agitated me. But again, I myself was operating out of ego because I was saying, how dare they not provide me with this service or this, place to sleep in because I paid X, Y, and Z. Now, now that I see this, it's absolutely ridiculous. And this guru was just reflecting my own inner state of being at that moment in time. So again, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. So yeah, I spent the first night there because my place that I had rented for the time being, which was very important to me, and I held a lot of value to it, because the Kumbh Mela was very gritty and very real, and it was testing the limits. And at that point, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was, again, coming from a lot of ego. So I spent the first night in the ashram floor, and I spent it with all of the gods and goddesses in the temple with all of these jewels, and it was quite beautiful. But again, I was operating out of ego. I was very upset and angry that this would happen to me. And so the very next day was a little bit, better. And we were supposed to go to this procession to the Ganges River. And we started out very early. And then we were walking. And while we were doing this, it was a very beautiful experience. Again, the people there, the devotees, the people there that, want this experience. It is the most life-changing, beautiful thing, that sense of unity and that sense of everyone just devoting their life to love. It's very beautiful. But again, something felt a little off because I did not agree with, or I did not resonate. I did not resonate with the message that was being presented to me, and it was a message of separation and ego and fear. So that's when I realized, okay, let me just go to the Ganges. Let me have this experience. When you pay a lot of money for something, you don't want to look the truth that's right in front of you, because again, you've invested your all. You've given everything. You put all of your energy into this. And how could you recognize truth when you've just given your everything, and this was not a little bit of money. This was a lot of money. And I'm not going to talk about how much it was because, again, not important, but to some people it is. And it was difficult even for me to come up with this money, but I said, you know what? This is a life-changing experience. It's not about the money. Let's do this. But then you realize certain things, and you realize you're being a player in somebody else's reality, and that's when you start questioning. So I was going towards the procession, towards the river. We didn't have water, we didn't have food. It was, again, transcending the self, the ego, testing the limits, and that was kind of putting me over the edge too a little bit. But again, the vibe was so awesome that it didn't matter if you were in the sun for 5 hours and you didn't have food or water because you were around good people. So it didn't bother me too much. But what did bother me was seeing certain things that I judged as egoic at that time. And as I was with my friend at the procession, in this Kumbh Mela, this person comes up behind me and my friend and says, this guru could buy 100 different cars or planes with the amount of money, that you're giving to him. And it was something in the back of my mind that I had been not wanting to confront, because again, I invested everything into this, and it's just like anything else that you invest in, any belief system that you invest in too much. Once you see that crumble, you realize, oh my goodness, it's that make or break point, and that is realizing your divine source, realizing that you're worth it. What makes your experience any less important than a guru's experience? Realize that. So I like to take from Hinduism and Buddhism and, all different religions. I love the Gnostic teachings. I love the Kabbalah, I love Sufism. I love all different ideas, Taoism. I love all different ideas, all different ways of life. I like to incorporate it and make it into my own and express my own truth and my own, experience. The problem that I have with belief systems is that we get too tied down to them, and we don't recognize the infinite possibilities and the infinite truths and everyone else's truths. So we believe that my way or the highway. So there's only one way of thinking, and there's only my existence, my way of thinking, and that's very egoic. That's when there is no tolerance for others and other people's experiences. So that's why I started to really look at this experience for what it was, and that was replacing my old belief systems with new belief systems. So I grew up in the religion of Islam, and to me, by choice, I realized that, there are many other options out there of truth. There are many other roads to truth, not just one. And I wanted to be a researcher. I just wanted to go into it all and explore it all. And once we are stuck in one way of thinking, then we forget about the different possibilities. And that's what I wanted to break away from. I wanted to break away from the belief system and start living in a quantum way. That's why this is called Quantum Kitty. Because with quantum physics, there are no rules. Things are very different than what we think. We think that just because we could see something, it's real. And I want to see the realness in everything, especially within myself. So yeah, that was a very interesting thing that I also picked up on. Another thing that I picked up on was the cult-like atmosphere. And, religions or belief systems could be cult-like or extreme in any way. I mean, if you think about it, every single religion or belief system is a cult to begin with. I mean, think about it. We could live in the middle way, or we could take things to the extreme. And that's kind of what I saw. I saw people mimicking the way he would speak, mimicking his mannerisms, talking like this guru, acting like this guru. And that was, again, scary, Another thing that I had asked his followers, when I was leaving and I was confronted and I had this altercation, was, if you guys are all of, divine source, then what's with all this separation? I didn't understand that. What's with all this anger and fighting? I didn't understand that either. So again, when you are using discernment to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, see the person for what they are, and sometimes we can project a certain image of ourselves, and that's why I decided to go and see if it was truth. And that's why I was thankful that I went to go see if this was truth or not, because again, me making these videos, I can project a certain image to you. Keep that in mind. You're not with me 24 hours a day. So yeah, that's why I try to be as real with myself as possible, because again, that could happen to me too. I have to recognize if I am living in divine truth, if I am a part of source and living in this light, I have to be this. And that's why I had to be a witness to it. And that's why I don't regret. I don't regret at all. I've had the luxury of being able to pursue my consciousness and my divine truth. And I am forever grateful. I am forever grateful. And even to, that guru, forever grateful. You are forever grateful for every single experience, for the people that hurt you the most. And for the people that hurt you the most, the people that take the most from you are the people that are your teachers here in this reality. So again, that's what I got from it. And that's why it was so important to have that experience. And that's why I do not judge, I don't judge other people that are at that point in life, because they're going to grow to the next step. And this is the quantum way of thinking, It's understanding that, yes, we do have these gurus and divine masters, but what makes them any different from ourselves? You have to think about that. You have to know, because when I was there, he would say that I am God 100 times. And he would say, but you are God too, only once. And I held on to that because I knew truth. I knew truth. And that is, not one person is important enough to have, all these devotees and to say that I am God and be on his pedestal and this and that. So, again, I had to see that. So when I was blessed with this divine knowing, I would know how to act. And again, that's super important. So that's why I started thinking while I was on this procession, and I was thinking and thinking and thinking. And then I had, thankfully, another very bright friend that was with me also thinking. And I'm not really going to talk about the actions of the guru or why or what happened or what I didn't like, because again, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. It was just a lesson, and it was a lesson in 1, knowing my own divine truth, 2, knowing my own divine purpose, 3, surrender, 4, checking my ego and seeing that manifested. So, yes, do I regret the experience? Absolutely not. It's something that was necessary for my own personal development. And again, when you're living in truth, when you're living as everyone is a reflection of you, you don't have problems because you don't think of problems in the same way. You think about them as tools for learning. So now I thank that guru, and I thank him because I realize that he is a reflection of myself, and he was just reflecting my own inner state of being. So yeah, that is what I learned from my trip from India. Why would I go back? Absolutely. I would go back for the food and for the shopping because it's just beautiful. It's a lovely country. I would go there for just having fun. Any place I go now, it's going for learning and for fun and experiencing. So yeah, that was a major experience. And I encourage all of you to just go out and experience the world, because that's what we're doing. We're downloading these experiences and we're upgrading our consciousness. So anyway, reflections, that's all I have to share today, and I hope you're having an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Hey Reflections, if you like my video, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.